Hello, everybody, and welcome to the webinar. My name is Ben Barber, and I am about to bring on our two hosts, our two experts for the show. Dr. Gina Madrigrano, who is a clinical psychologist and a life coach, a mindfulness coach, and life coach Glenn Ambrose. Who are here to talk to you guys and help you through the struggles of this pandemic right now. And they put together a wonderful course that we're going to talk about a little bit. But really, right now, we're here to answer your questions, and that is the goal. So without further ado, let me introduce Glenn Ambrose and Dr. Gina Madrigrano.
Hi there.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hey guys. So let's talk a little bit about how what you guys have put together first to start off this course, and then if anybody has questions, Sarah Barrett said, "Hi, excited about this. We're excited that you're here, Sarah."
Hi, Sarah.
And I just want to let everybody know that if you have questions, type them in the comments, and I will ask them to Glenn and Dr. Gina. So tell us a little bit about the course that you put together for people. Gina, why don't you start?
Okay. So I met Glenn over Insight Timer, and I like his work. And we're kind of in the same direction and helping people a lot. So we thought it'd be nice to put a course together to help people get through the pandemic, because there's a lot of fear and anxiety and adjusting to the new normal, and people don't know how to cope, what to do. So we thought we'd come together and give them a bunch of resources that'll help them get through this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glenn, do you want
Yeah,
to say anything about
absolutely.
it?
I mean, it's, we're both in the industry of helping people. So, I think that when things like this happen, it's kind of our duty to step up and do what we can. So, so that's what we're trying to do. Everybody does their part, where we help people deal with anxiety and fears and that type of stuff. And what better time to give people the tools to do that than now, when we most need it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Hello, Stephanie. Thank you for watching all the way from Guatemala.
Yes.
So
Hi,
we're
Stephanie.
So we asked for some questions from your viewers. Both of you have podcasts and followers and stuff. So we asked some questions from them, and then we want to really answer your questions live as well. We are talking in general about the stuff that we cover in the course, which is the fear and anxiety of dealing with this, of living through this pandemic, of being out of work, of just the general fear. And we talk a lot about dealing with kids and crisis and taking stock of your life, and we'll go through all of that. But so if you have any questions, and I'm sure you do, regarding any of this stuff, feel free to ask. Our first question that I'm going to ask is about kids and crisis, and I think it's more about everybody too. Is it okay that our regular routine has shifted, meaning my kids go to bed a little later and sleep in a bit more? They still have a structure to their day, but this feels more organic. They're not as busy as they used to be, so a slight change in routine seems okay, right?
Yeah, well, what I'd answer to that is what works for you is just fine. You don't need to look at what other people are doing or even expect to be functioning as if everything's normal, because not everything is normal right now. So you need to be present and pay attention to what your family needs. And you know what? School starts early, and if we have the luxury to sleep in and go to bed later and shift our routine a few hours, why not? If that's what will bring peace and calm to the family, it's okay. Whatever's good for your family.
Yeah, and I agree. I think, and it's a really good place to start, because it can kind of set a theme that I think we'll go through, and that is, make the adjustments now. Like, this can be an opportunity to bring some consciousness to your life and design a life that you want to live. So, things have slowed down, and we can kind of put a little bit more thought into what we're doing and why we're doing it, instead of just instinctively going with society's routine. So yeah, find what works for you, and plus it eliminates some of the fear with the children too.
Yeah.
When it's like, oh my God, there's this horrible thing happening, and I was talking to a kid who's about to graduate high school this year, and I was like, is there a lot of fear put on you? And he said, yeah. And a lot of people are going like, oh, you poor thing, you're missing out on your senior year, and it's like, I think what we're doing is we're unconsciously, we're making these kids victims of a situation. And with this type of stuff, it's like, I'm like, did you get up in the morning every day before you went to school and went like, yes, I get to go to school? He's like, no. I go, all right, then maybe having a little break is kind of nice. He's like, yeah, I can stay up a little later. I can sleep in a little bit. He's like, it's not bad. I'm like, okay, cool. So like, I think we have to keep that in mind. Like, there's so much pressure on us, and there's so much pressure on children. Like, relax a little bit, man. Be like you envisioned a family in the 1950s, which they probably weren't like that either, but be like you envisioned them to be. Relax a little bit, enjoy.
So Richard said, hi, Gina, Ben, and Glenn. Thank you so much for all that you are doing. My question is, and then I don't see a question. So leave a question. I thought that there was more to that on the pop-up, but Richard, send in the rest of your question, please. Sarah Barrett says, wow, that's a great point about victimizing them. I hadn't thought of it that way. Yeah, and we cover that a lot in I think episode 4 or lesson 4, which is kids in crisis. And not only, we talk about not only victimizing the children and the poor me mentality of like, yeah, but it's happening to everybody, and there's things that we all have to deal with, but we talk about, in general, or you guys talk about all of us feeling a little sorry for ourselves with the situations that we're in right now. And and it's easy to, this is something, when there's something so massive that's happened, it's really easy to, right now, no one blames you for playing the victim. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's very socially acceptable to be a victim at this moment. Congratulations.
Yeah.
If you've been looking for that, here's your opening.
It's the opportunity.
Yeah.
But it's a question of perspective, right? This is a massive example, but you can be victimized by a challenge, or turn it around and see what's the lesson, what's the opportunity in it, and it'll totally impact how you feel about it. Mindset's everything.
So Richard did put up his question, which is, how do we choose our battles with our children?
Good question.
Good question.
Let me think about that one. Well, how do you pick your battles? The way I would say is, first is look at the big picture, one, and reconnect with your values and what matters to you. So don't just look at the short-term situation. Think of the long-term impact of whatever battle you're picking. So is this one worth it in the long term? Let's use an example about school. Your child hasn't been doing their schoolwork for 2-3 days, and you're freaking out because you're picturing them dropping out of high school and being homeless. And then you think, okay, it's just 3 days. 3 days in a lifetime is nothing. What's more important, my relationship with my child or this battle about homework and schoolwork? So it boils down to your values and what matters most to you, and not just looking at the short term. That's how I would approach it.
Yeah, and I think it is about slowing down. Everything's about slowing down, and this is one of the gigantic things that this pandemic is helping us do. If we collectively take the opportunity to do it, it's slowing down. So if you're working and grocery shopping and hitting a gym and bringing the kids to soccer and picking them up after school and doing all, like everything's slowed down. So now's the perfect time to bring more consciousness into your life. So when a situation arises, pause for a moment, stop, center yourself. Don't get caught, lean away from the issue and relax for a moment. And I mean, most things don't need to be dealt with on the spot in life as well as in parenting. And I know this from being a parent myself. It's like, just put some space in between you and the issue. And so you don't react and then consciously act. So you can sit back and think about it. I don't know, I'm going to think about this and deal with it tomorrow. So then you can look at it and you can ask questions like Gina said, and be like, okay, now, is this important? Why is it important? Should I address this? Should I not address this? Should I let this slide? Can I put together a system and go, okay, hey, listen, I'm going to give you the 3 days slide on the homework, but we got to start tomorrow. I'm going to clear the slate and wipe off the 3 days, but we got to start, or, find a happy medium. Mm-hmm. Another thing you can do is bring your children in. I did that a lot with my son over the years. Bring your children in and ask them what they think. If you go, okay, I'm a first-time parent here, not sure what I'm doing. So I'd love your opinion on this. I have a 9-year-old who's not doing his homework, but he should really be keeping up with his schoolwork. And I'm his parent. Like, how should I handle that? And put it on their plate. A lot of times I found out my son was a lot harder on himself than I would have been. And he's like, well, I'd let him skip one day and then have him make up the 2 days that he missed. And I was going to give him a pass on 3 days. I was like, perfect. We'll do. It sounds good. And then he feels like he's part of the solution, so he's more invested in the solution because it was his idea. So
good point.
Absolutely. So we have, Liette, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, has a very difficult question. My grandchild wants to hug us and we don't want to do it, and she is crying. What can we tell her?
Depends on the depends on the age, right? If the communication is in person or not. I don't know the circumstances, but let's go with general. I would explain to them what's happening at the level of development of the child. And in the course, I put a link to a booklet of a really good videos for children without scaring them and dramatizing them, and validating their emotions and their need to be hugging us. So have a lot of compassion through it, and basically walk them through that, through basically the adult version of acceptance, that that's how it is, but it's not going to last forever, and putting some validation and empathy through that. So you don't want to dismiss their need to being hugged. And then you could find a creative way to hug. So that's fun with the little ones, because you can easily distract them and, find a fun way to hug from far away. And, you could use a stick. We put a glove at the end of it. You can turn it into a game and something creative. What do you think, Glenn?
Yeah, and I just saw the pop-up come through that says that she's 2. So, I mean, 2, it's
pretty small.
Right. So, I mean, I truly believe that children understand things a lot better than we give them credit for, but 2 is pretty young. I mean, I always just say, bring it back to love, like to the best of your ability, bring it to love, make the reason that you're doing things love. It's because I love you and I want to keep you safe. It's because I love you and I want to be here for a long time to watch you grow up. And it's only, like you said, Gina, it's only temporary. And it's, and I mean, I guess the other thing that I have to touch on a little bit is just the, like, really we get caught up in the fear. And I think, and I'm not saying that you who asked the question are doing this, because I don't know the specifics, but I see it a lot that people are being unreasonable with what they're doing. Like, if you live alone, you don't have to wash your hands 30 times a day. It literally makes no sense. If you live alone and you haven't left the house, there's no reason that you have to, it's not there. It's not, you know, so like if you're locked in the house and you're with a 2-year-old, is not touching them necessary? I mean, you know, really use your head and think. And I'm saying some situations, perhaps it is necessary. But a lot of situations, it's not necessary. And, you know, I think just slowing down, letting go some of the fear and really looking at it logically and going, okay, in this particular situation, is it necessary? If it is, and you feel it's necessary, that's your personal judgment call. It's your life. Then, you know, you can do some of the things that we said, try to explain to them out of love, make a game out of it, you know, stuff like that. Just don't use fear as the basis, you know. And if it's not necessary, if it's an irrational fear, give the little
kid a hug.
Child a hug. Give them a lot of them, man. You know.
Yeah, and the beauty of 2-year-olds is you can literally use their imagination. So if you really can't hug the child, use fairies, dolls, you know, pixie dust, anything, and they really play into the imaginary. So
yeah,
as long as there's no fear. Yeah,
you might even be able to get one of those dolls where you can record your voice, order it on Amazon or something, you know, and record your voice and be like, this is temporary Grammy. You know, I mean, because you're right, their imagination can latch onto stuff like that. They can think this is the greatest game ever.
Yeah.
So we have a question from Natalie, or maybe not a question. I haven't fully read it yet.
Natalie.
We are communicating to parents. Find opportunities to teach life skills and talking about the importance of self and family, applying strategies for taking space for all when needed because they are spending too much time together. Glenn is right, depending on the child's age and development, having them be part of the process. Definitely. And actually we talk a lot I believe we have a full episode or a full lesson of the course about setting boundaries and taking time for yourself. So can you guys touch on that? Like it's close quarters for a lot of people that they're not used to.
Do you want to go first or?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So it's very important to have clear boundaries within the family. So let's assume we're all living in the same house. Doesn't matter how big it is, but that there be mutual respect as much from the parents towards the child as the child toward the parent, and partners with each other if there's partners involved, that we all need some personal space and define it clearly between each other. Whether that personal space is physical or mental, you know, what we consume together, what we watch on TV, up all the way to if you want to go for a walk by yourself, read on your own. So boundaries are very important, and it's a two-way street so that everyone can get through this without choking each other.
Yeah, I was just talking to some relatives that live in New York, and they are both unfortunately unemployed right now, and they're both used to being very busy people, and they're loving all the extra time. But they told me a story literally like yesterday about how she was like, I'm gonna go to the store, and he was like, oh, okay, you don't want me to come, do you? Like, no, I don't want you to come to the store with me. You're gonna stay here. And that was nice for both of them. Glenn?
Yeah. And I think that right off the bat, you said the word respect, which is the foundation for any healthy relationship. And again, if we look at what this situation is forcing us into, it's a gift. it's a gift to design a happy, healthy life. This, because we are stuck together. So you can't, if everybody's passing in a night and you don't really spend any time together, it's easy to be in a household for years and years and years and years where there is very little respect. But when you're trapped, you better figure out a way to respect each other, and which is good, because now it's an opportunity for people to develop healthy relationships within their own family. So it's a very large percentage, I'll say it that way, that my clients have told me over the years that they can't do things for themselves. And oftentimes, and it's a lot of different things, but most common, it's when it comes up, it's meditation. It's, oh, well, I can't meditate anywhere. There's too many people in the house. It's like, what do you mean there's too, like, all you lock yourself in a bathroom? Like, who cares? And while they'll knock, we'll stop them from knocking. Like, we need to learn to set these boundaries. And again, this is a perfect opportunity to do that, to teach people, like, listen, we all have the right to privacy. You don't have to agree with me, but you have to respect me. So I don't care if you think that it's not necessary for me to meditate, at 3 p.m. You can disagree with that all day long, but don't knock on the door. I mean, so, and I see it at all ages. Like, at first I heard it with like little children. I'm like, it's okay. I have, my son was little then. And I'm like, well, it takes a little while to teach them. Put the timer on your microwave so they can see when you're going to be done, or put the time on the door, or whatever, and then I found out, no, it's like, they have problems with their own parents who live with them knocking at the door. They have problems with their spouses knocking on the door. They have problems with teenage children knocking on the door. It's like, you guys need to develop some respect in your household. So yeah, this is a great time to develop that. And one of the good ways to do it is to make sure, you sit down and say, everybody has to have this. We all get it. We all get a piece of paper. And we're all taping it on our door, and we all have the right to our own private time. So if that's on the door, then we can't interrupt them for that period of time and implementing this type of stuff.
Absolutely. Stephanie says, thank you, Gina. It pretty much answers my question, how to bring balance into a family where everybody is feeling enclosed and tight. And she also said, you don't have to agree with me, but you have to respect me. Gracias, Glenn.
Yeah.
Sarah says, I feel like differing perspectives on what is happening has created some challenging opportunities for growth. Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about the actual course. And if you have more questions, please feel free to ask them. And I just put a link to the course down in the bottom, so you can check that out on the Glenn Ambrose Life Coaching or wherever you are. And we'll put that out there. But let's show people, this is what we're talking about. We put together, the two of you put together 8 lessons to finding peace in a pandemic. Learn the practices to navigate your way through the COVID-19 crisis. It is a full course featuring the two of you for just $35, which is ridiculous, but we'll go past that for now. And during this course, you'll learn how to decrease anxiety and find peace, decrease overwhelm and a sense of disconnect, decrease confusion and increase clarity, improve self-care and resilience, keep hope and faith during trying times, practical coping skills for work and family life, learn how to best support your children, and learn how to navigate the uncertainty and lack of control. So not only is this being the course is discounted right now from $299 to $35. There's a lot of frequently asked questions. You can get all of this bios, and then you have the 8 lessons here, which we can go through. And as you can see, here we have the objectives. So lesson 1, managing fear and anxiety, understanding how we can manage anxiety and fear. Lesson 2, be able to maintain hope and faith. self-care and boundaries, which we just talked about, helping our children through a crisis, letting go of our need for control, an opportunity to heal old wounds.
Oh, this looks good, Ben.
Staying connected while
Hey,
social
Gina,
distancing.
I think we got a good course here.
Yeah.
And then there's also a bunch, as you can see, almost 20 different extras for things that are additional things that you can add on, and full links to podcast episodes that you guys have done that would be helpful, and all of that. So there's you said that the course is discounted from $299, and I just want to say that this is really, being a part of it. All 8 lessons felt like life coaching sessions.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I mean, 8 life coaching sessions would be more like $1,200 to $1,500.
And then you got 2 people, so you multiply that times 2.
So it's very,
It's
but
exponential, really.
Like the virus.
So why did you? Why is this $35? Is my question.
Well, because we want to help people out. Many people are struggling financially right now, whether it's because of the pandemic or even before the pandemic, and we wanted to give back. So for the next few months, we just want to help out and do the best we can to be of service and basically support people who might need our help and can't afford it.
Right. It's, people are taking economic hits all over the world. And, so you have that aspect, but you also have the aspect of people who wouldn't be able to afford much more on a good day. So there's that demographic too. So it's like, there's a lot of people out there that just plain need help. And I mean, you're going to spend $35 at one dinner.
Yeah.
If you go out to dinner once a month, you're going to spend $35, and you can't go out to dinner. So you might, get something that's going to help you. And a lot of this stuff, the courses, of course, the way that we both teach is, Ben said this, is about getting to the core of things. So yes, of course, the course is specifically focused on the pandemic and the crisis that we're in at the particular moment. But underneath it, it's just bringing to surface all the things that we struggle with on a regular basis anyway. This is life lessons. This is life skills. This is things that would make your life better, dealing with normal day anxieties and fears, and dealing with your children, and all the things that we talk about can enhance your life even if this wasn't going on. So you can take all these lessons that that are specifically focused on this, and you can use it to enhance your life. And I think that that's one of the biggest opportunities we have now. Slow down, take the opportunity to, you're going to come out of this. At one point, this is going to be in your rearview mirror. And when it is, who do you want to be on that day? Do you want to be a better version of yourself, or do you want to pick up where you left off? I mean, I've been working on myself pretty hard for 17 years, and I have plenty of room for growth. So I'm thinking that you guys do too. So, I mean, it's just about becoming a better version of yourself and making it through a difficult situation with as much grace and ease as possible.
And the other advantage is, even when this is over, the people will still have access to the course, and the stuff we're teaching applies to everyday life. It's not symptom specific, meaning this course will also be useful post-pandemic. And that's when we'll start selling it again. It just won't be titled pandemic, but they're universal teachings regardless of what's happening in people's lives. But we've seen an urgency right now, so we're focusing on the pandemic.
Absolutely.
Right. Our hope is to help, and that's, if anything, this pandemic has put even more of a focus That's what our businesses are anyway.
Mm.
But this is just put more of a focus on that for me. That's one of the benefits, one of the blessings that I've gotten out of it. It's just that, that hyper focus of going, hey, people really need help now. How can I be of service?
Absolutely. Also, I just want to say that part of the extras that we didn't talk about in detail were some wonderful guided meditations from both of you, and so there's a bunch of stuff on how to calm anxiety and how to quiet the mind and really practice mindfulness. That's in there as well, and so it covers all aspects, and it's great for. We talk a lot about other hard times because today it's a pandemic that is affecting everybody in the world right now, but at some point, and maybe it's not affecting you as much as it's affecting your neighbor or your grandmother or your friend, but there's going to be an issue in all of our lives in which you're going to have to explain to a child something uncomfortable, or you're going to have to deal with fear and anxiety bubbling up, or
A
learning
diagnosis.
a
Yeah, a diagnosis.
Yeah, you talk a lot, Gina, about your daughter's cancer battle in the course, and there's so it really is it's broad, and we do get into the topics deeply of the pandemic and the virus right now, but it's so much more than that, and I think that you guys just did a wonderful job, because I can say that because I take no credit for it myself. I'm just asking you questions. But you did a wonderful job really helping people navigate those waters, and I think $35 is a ridiculously generous price for this. So I just want to say thank you personally for this, because I know that being the first person that took the course technically, it's helped me in my perspective a lot, and it's helped me deal with the children in my house, and the everything from a day-to-day basis of just getting through this, which is not always easy. And I also would like to say that I would love to end the way that Gina ends every episode of her podcast.
We're going to sing?
We're not going to sing.
Oh,
We're not going to sing. But Gina ends every episode of her podcast with a moment of gratitude. And I think that it would be really nice because so much of this is based on fear and anxiety that we're all feeling right now. So I think that, and we talk about it a lot in the course, being grateful for things currently is one of the best ways to center yourself. So I think that it would be really nice if we sort of emulate that for everybody else and end with a moment of gratitude. If you guys want, I didn't ask permission for this.
Yeah, and I think, gratitude is, what was that quote we put out? I've said it a few different ways, but gratitude is the verb of joy.
Yeah.
It's like people often ask me, how can you feel happy, or how do you feel joy, or how do you bring love into your life? And it's gratitude is like an action word. It's something that you can actually do. You can, like, you can go be grateful. Like you can take a moment of gratitude. It's an action step. It's a verb, so I think that this is a perfect way to end it. And, if there are other questions we haven't gotten to, we can always, we'll check the comments after.
Yeah. And the link will, the platform, the course is live. So you can click the link and get to it. No problem. And that'll be awesome. And if you have any questions, feel free to email both Glenn and Gina. All of their information is on there. So who would like to go first?
Gina, this is your thing. You got to lead us out.
So when I'm resisting what's happening right now, I try to come back to what is going well. And right now, all my family is healthy. I'm healthy. The dogs are healthy. I'm lucky. I have a roof over my head. I have food. I have a computer. I have everything to make my life locked up be awesome and amazing. And I'm surrounded by tons of people virtually who really love me. So I feel I'm very rich right now in this situation, even if I'm not working. So that's what makes me forget sometimes that difficulty is I'm very abundant in every area in my life right now. And I have to remember that because many people aren't this lucky.
Beautiful. So for me, I'm the most grateful for seeing this as an opportunity. It's the clarity that I've gotten since this thing started is really wonderful. I mean, like I said, I've worked on myself pretty consistently for 17 years. And so I'm fairly self-aware, but this has taken it to a whole nother level. I mean, I still get caught up in life, and it's wonderful having a business that doing what I love and being able to work from home and all that stuff. But, there's always growth to be had. And this has slowed me down and forced me to go inside and really look at my life and go, okay, what in my life is working and that I want to keep? And what is my next? Where do I want to go next with my business or with my life? What experiences do I want to have now? What's my next chapter going to look like? So I'm really grateful for the clarity that I'm getting and the opportunity to go within and to get that clarity so I can really continue building the life that I want to live. I mean, I plan on coming in at the end of this lifetime, sliding sideways at, 80 miles an hour, man, with my hair on fire. So like, I'm not slowing down anytime soon, but I still get caught up in little pockets. So now it's like, okay, I'm getting clarity on what really is going to make me feel alive and feed my soul for the next chapter of my life. And I'm really excited about that. And Ben?
Awesome.
Yeah.
What are
Your
you
turn.
grateful for?
I was gonna wrap it up.
Nope.
No
Fine.
escape.
I am grateful for 7:08 p.m. on April 21st, 2020. Literally, I'm grateful for this moment that we're in right now, and that is where I'm trying to keep my focus at all times. Right now is just where I am, and that right now everything is good, and right now everybody is safe, and right now um, the people that I love are all in pretty good spots, and I'm getting to help people every day, and so yeah, I'm just grateful for the moment that I'm in, and my hope is that that gratitude for the present moment continues when the weight of this is not on your shoulders anymore and you can sort of start living unconsciously again. I hope that I'm still as grateful as I am right now for the moment that we're in.
Nicely done.
Thanks, man. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Gina. Thank you, Glenn. And once again, click the link. Thank you, Stephanie, who bought the course already. Sandy. Hey, Sandy. Thank you, Dr. Gina,
Hey,
Glenn,
Sandy.
and Ben. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Sandy.
Thank you all for watching. This is not the last time that the three of us will go live and answer your questions. I guarantee it. We had so much fun doing this. So thank you guys very much. And I believe we all had a lot of fun putting together this course as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, always lots of laughs.
Yeah. So, all right. So
Yes.
thank you guys very much, and Glenn and Gina and LG, I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Talk soon.
Bye.